Bang bang MMA gang. Now in today's video we give predictions on UFC Fight Night St. Louis. Now this card, listen, when we talk about fight nights, we've been given a lot of trash, but I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of hyped for this card. This card is a legit fight night and we're gonna give predictions on your favorite fights. Starting off, Terrence McKinney versus Esteban Ribovics. Now when we look at Terrence McKinney, he's in a weird spot. I'm not going to call Terrence McKinney Phil Hawes, but Terrence McKinney, if I were to describe Terrence McKinney, his fights go two ways. He gets knocked out or he knocks somebody out. It's never going to be a boring fight. Guys like Terrence McKinney, you can have them in the UFC for a longer time. You can use him as like a launching pad into the top 15. He's not a big name, but he's a big enough name to where he can be a launching pad to somebody getting ranked in the top 15. Now, Esteban Ribovics on the other side, he's legit. He's never been finished. He's 1-1 in the UFC. He has lost. It was a decision, but he's never been finished in his amateur career, his professional career ever. He's never been finished. And when we look at Terrence McKinney's strengths, it's all knockouts. The guy has one of the best knockouts ever. He has one of the most quickest knockouts ever. He's beat Matt Favola. Like, the guy, it's weird. He's a weird guy. I don't know how to describe Terrence McKinney. It's like his grappling. He actually has good jiu-jitsu. He doesn't use it. The thing is wrestling, getting people down. Does he have a great gas tank? What does he look like when he's pressed against the cage? We've seen him lose to a flying knee. It's hard when we're predicting Terrence McKinney fights because it goes either two ways. Either he knocks you out or you get knocked out. on the other side has never been finished. So can Terrence McKinney do it? We're going to see. But if I were to give my predictions, I'm going to go Esteban submission. Esteban has great submissions. If you look at Esteban's wins and losses, he only has one or two losses, but if you look at his wins, it's half. It's submissions, knockouts, decisions. This guy's well versed. If I had to put money on the line, I'm going with Ribovics. Esteban Ribovics. Moving on, we have Chase Hooper versus Vyacheslav Borshev. Now Vyacheslav, just look at the name. These Russians have got to be stopped. Vyacheslav, I ain't gonna lie, he has legit boxing. He's good. He has great striking. He's just a solid Russian that knows how to strike. Chase Hooper, on the other hand, we all know, y'all can call me what you want. I'm a jiu-jitsu homer. I love jiu-jitsu. It is what it is. Chase Hooper, on the other hand, has great jiu-jitsu. He can finish so many different people in MMA. He has great MMA jiu-jitsu. He's already good in jiu-jitsu alone, the sport. But MMA jiu-jitsu, he's even better. I love Chase Hooper. His only flaw, and it's a glaring flaw, is getting people to the ground. Getting people to where he can go for the submissions. Now, it's not a problem Chase Hooper has had by himself. It's a problem most jiu-jitsu guys coming in have. How do you get the submission if you can't get him to the ground? Chase Hooper doesn't have the best striking. His striking's okay. He has ground and pound. The win against Jordan Levitt really surprised me. He took him down. Jordan Levitt, what was that? Jordan Levitt had one submission cinched up, got out of that, and got his rear naked choke. Jordan Levitt is not a legit guy. Jordan Levitt is he's like a Terrence McKinney. He's a launching pad without the big name. Jordan Levitt, he got his name from the Paddy Pimblett fight and with his, stuff he does after wins. We're not going to get into all that. But, yeah, Jordan Levitt, that win was really good for Chase Hooper. I think if this fight can go to the ground, Chase Hooper gets the sub pretty easily. His opponent is not even a submission threat at all. The Russian is a legit striker. I'll give him that. Not so much kicks, but he's just a good boxer. One of his wins coming off a liver shot. Guys, you know how they all are. Let's just be honest. He's a can. They're not both cans. Chase Hooper is legit if he had great striking. But yeah, it's gonna be a low level fight unless Chase Hooper gets this fight to the ground and gets a submission. I'm going with Chase Hooper by submission. Some way, somehow, he gets him to the ground. Even if it's Chase Hooper getting knocked down, some way fight gets to the ground. Chase Hooper finds a way to get to the back,  5 inches up a rear naked choke, and that is that. Moving on. we have Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Robelis Despain. This fight, I am so hyped for this fight because we have this absolute scrub, Waldo Cortez Acosta, who tried to stun and who was showboating against our legend, Andrei Arlovski, for the whole fight while doing nothing. Now, listen, Andrei Arlovski is in the back end of his career. I'd say the absolute end of his career. And he couldn't finish Andrei Arlovski. And he's stunting on him, showboating the whole time, not being able to finish him. This guy has pillow hands for a heavyweight. Robelis Despain is going to absolutely flatline him. He's going to do justice for the MMA and UFC community. We are tired of guys not being able to prove themselves and stunning. Like, if you're going to stunt, if you're going to showboat, at least go for the finish. This guy was doing nothing. Andrei Arlovski was taking all of his hooks, was taking all of his uppercuts, his overhand rights, all of his sloppy boxing, and he wasn't doing nothing. I want to see him have the same energy versus Robelis Despain. Robelis Despain is going to absolutely flatline him. This guy is one of the most athletic heavyweights I've ever seen in the history of the company. Listen, Robelis Despain flatlines. Not flatlines. I'm talking about we're wondering if this guy is absolutely still alive after the fight. Give me Robelis Despain via flatline in the first round, and that is that. Moving on, we have Alex Caceres versus Sean Woodson. Now, this fight, it's another one of those fights where we're locked in for. Alex Caceres, Bruce Leroy, is legit, bro. His striking, like that one high kick where the left high kick that he got to finish the fight, one of the most slickest finishes, how he hit that high kick. Like, this guy's striking is legit. He has a problem. He gets off to slow starts. Listen, if you don't start fast against Sean Woodson, he can drain you. Sean Woodson has the best, if not the best. I've seen him. I've seen Adrian Yanez has a good one. And I've seen Jack Della Maddalena when it comes to body shots. Listen, pause, body shots. But those body shots by Sean Woodson might be the best in the company, might be the best in the UFC. This guy's legit. He has legit boxing. His arms go down to his fucking ankles, bro. This guy has reach for days. He's legit. He has great boxing. But Bruce Leroy can never be counted out. This right here, I don't know what the odds are, but this to me is a pick'em fight. If Alex Caceres comes in and mixes up his striking, Sean Woodson's there to be caught. But Sean Woodson, his arms are so long, his range is so, like, Mighty Mouse says it the best, that void in between where fighters are going in and out trying to reach for distance. He has one of the biggest advantages because his arms are so fucking long. Sean Woodson is going to be a great fight. It's a pick'em for me. It can go either way. If I had to put my life on the line to pick this fight, I would go Sean Woodson by decision. It can even be split. I'm going with Sean Woodson by unanimous decision. The guy has great body shots. The guy also, here's what certain fighters struggle with, like Chito Vera. If you're not going for a knockout, if you don't get a knockout, can you build up enough points to where you win the fight? Sean Woodson, luckily, is not a brain-dead guy like Chito Vera, who just looks for the knockout for 5 straight rounds and doesn't get it, loses 50-45. He's not going to look for a knockout. He's just going jab, 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 get in close, body, 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 have you thinking like, damn, my body hurts. You're out of breath. You're struggling to breathe. He's still coming at you. Like George St. Pierre said, you feel claustrophobic. Sean Woodson, man. Give me Sean Woodson by decision. And that is that. Moving on. We got the co-main event of the evening. Nursulton Ruziboev versus Joaquin Buckley. Now, I've made videos on these two in the past, predicting their fights. I've told y'all, Nursulton is a guy that has been fighting cans his whole life. But let me tell you this, Nursulton Ruziboev is the real deal. Now, let me quickly go over one thing. Nursulton Ruziboev is a guy that fights at 185. This is a short notice fight against Joaquin Buckley, and they're fighting at 170. Make that make sense. Now, when you hear guys doing short notice fights, like example, a 55er, a lightweight, doing a short notice fight, it would be in his best interest to make 170 because it's a short notice fight. Like most 55ers do. If it's a short notice, they're going to 170 unless you're Jalen Turner somehow on 9 days notice making 155, even though you're the biggest lightweight on earth. Makes no fucking sense. That guy, we got to look into that guy. That guy's doing something. I don't know what it is, but Jalen Turner is doing something that we don't know. Yeah, that was a little sidetrack. But back to Nursulton Ruziboev. He's an 85er that is making 170. That's impossible in my opinion. But he made weight. Is it going to drain him? It has to drain him. I've never seen an 85er make 70 on short notice. Something's up. I don't know what it is. Maybe he was cutting this whole time and waiting for this opportunity. Who knows? But man, we are overrating Joaquin Buckley. I'm going to just say that. His fight versus Vicente Luque is what we call F-L-U-K-E. Fluke. Vicente Luque quit. I love Vicente Luque. I'm a Vicente Luque fan. I love everything about Vicente Luque. His striking, his jiu-jitsu, his cage work, his okay wrestling that he usually doesn't show. But he absolutely quit. I don't know why he did that against Buckley. Buckley must have hit him so hard. I didn't see it. He just shelled up the second he went to the ground. We are overrating Joaquin Buckley. He's ranked for the first time in his career. Do not let that fool you. Joaquin Buckley, even though Rosieboy is drained, I hope that guy has the Yoel Romero rehydration plan, because there's no way an 85er can make 70 on a short notice. How? It's hard enough to make your own weight class on short notice. People go up. You're telling me you went down 15 pounds? Something's up. I don't know what it is. I hope he has a good rehydration team and plan around him. But this is as easy of a pick'em, not pick'em. This is as easy as a pick as it gets. I'm going again. Nursulton Ruziboev. I've picked him last time, first round knockout. I'm against Cedricus Dumas. I'm going with Nursulton Ruziboev by knockout. I'm telling you, by absolute knockout. Joaquin Buckley is an absolute trash can that beat Vicente Luque, who quit. There is not a ranked welterweight that Joaquin Buckley can beat outside of Vicente Luque, who quit. But yeah, I'm going with the Nursulton Ruziboev by absolute flatline. Moving on. We have the main event of the evening, Rodrigo Nascimento versus Derrick Lewis. Now, the Brazilian, Rodrigo Nascimento. Now, looking at this fight, you would look, if you were looking from an objective eye, not knowing their win and loss record and just looking at highlights, you would see Derrick Lewis, I'm talking about from like a casual point of view, for the casuals, for the people, for the casuals. They would say Derrick Lewis is a knockout guy, and Rodrigo is a guy that's a good wrestler. He can take you down. He can submit you. He can hold you down. He has solid jiu-jitsu. Most people would pick Rodrigo Nascimento just based off of their skill set. Let me tell you something. When you lose to Chris Daukaus, like I'm talking about the worst heavyweight on the roster, the blob, not even a heavyweight nowadays. When you lose to Chris Daukaus, I can't respect you. When you lose to him in the first round, I can't respect you. Now, Chris Daukaus is a guy that when he first came to the UFC, he was booming for a little bit. He had a little win streak. He had a 4-fight win streak. When I say the second the competition moved up a notch, he has been absolutely a can. Derrick Lewis flatlined him. Lost to Derrick Lewis. Lost to Chris Curtis. Lost to Jairzinho Rosenstrike. He even lost to... Now, Khalil Roundtree's power is probably heavyweight, can knock out heavyweights. But light heavyweight Khalil Roundtree flatlined him. Now, you lose to Roundtree. You lose to Chris Curtis. You lose to Jairzinho Rosenstrike. You lose to Derrick Lewis. Chris Daukaus, the guy that's 4-4 in the UFC, who's an absolute blob, who 50-50 in the UFC and cannot beat anybody that's ranked. That guy beat you, Rodrigo. if you're losing to Chris Daukaus, there's not an iota in my body that will pick you against Derrick Lewis. Now, can you take down Derrick Lewis and hold him down? Yes. I'll tell you one thing. If Jailton Almeida, who has, people, I don't know what's wrong with people. People all of a sudden turned on Jailton Almeida after the Derrick Lewis performance. But Jailton Almeida's jiu-jitsu is all world. For heavyweight, he might have the best heavyweight jiu-jitsu I've ever seen. Just because Derrick Lewis didn't give him his back, he just controlled Derrick Lewis. Derrick Lewis, it's like Alex Pereira. When Alex Pereira, you take him down, you know why Alex Pereira doesn't get submitted by Jan and Yuri, guys who have all right jiu-jitsu? It's because he just fights the wrist. He doesn't turn his back. It's like, it's like what fucking Dustin Poirier does. And I hate that because he's my favorite fighter. The second he goes to the ground, he turns his back. If you give up your back, you're looking for a rear naked choke that can cinch it up quickly. You can't fight to a post, try to get up. But come on, bro. Like if we're losing to Chris Daukaus, I can't respect you. I'm sorry. I'm picking Derrick Lewis by absolute flatline. If Chris Daukaus can flatline you, Derrick Lewis will do worse stuff to you. Derrick Lewis survived against Jailton Almeida's jiu-jitsu. Derrick Lewis can get up. You don't have as good as grappling as Jailton Almeida. I'm definitely going with Derrick Lewis. Even if you give him full mounted, he's just gonna fight the wrist. You're gonna do minimal damage against him. I don't know if it's a pick'em, if it's who's plus money or whatever it is. I'm 100% going with Derrick Lewis by flatline KO. Probably in the first round. Yeah, that's my pick. Derrick Lewis, first round flatline. If you lose to Chris Daukaus, you're losing to Derrick Lewis. I'm sorry. And that is that. Listen, like, share, subscribe. I'm telling you, I got the best picks. Y'all go watch my other videos. I'm killing it. Niggas ain't fucking with me, bro. I'm trying to tell y'all. MMA gang, bang, bang, MMA gang. We going to the top, and that is that. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. The MMA gang is in. And that is that.